Is polyester really just a mark of being poor? If you open your closet right now, you'll find polyester in almost everything you wear. This plastic-based clothing first became popular for being cheap, durable, and quick drying, but today it's labeled as cheap, it's stuffy, it pills, and it crackles with static. Aside from the price, it seems full of flaws. However, while people might complain about it, their choices tell a different story. Cotton was the most popular fiber last century, but over the past 20 years, polyester has come to dominate the entire textile industry. Many brands are even continuing to increase the proportion of polyester in their clothing. So why have the clothes we wear turned into plastic? And is plastic-based clothing really that bad? Hello everyone, I'm Kanchai. Today let's take a deep dive into synthetic fiber fabrics. In today's textile industry, whether it's Drowan lamb's wool or milk velvet, despite the names, they are all actually synthetic fibers. Synthetic fibers now account for 84% of China's textile raw materials, more than cotton, linen, and silk combined. It's no exaggeration to say that without synthetic fibers, over half of China's 1.4 billion people couldn't afford to wear clothes. So why are synthetic fibers so popular in the textile industry? Reason is simple. Cotton production is limited. It competes with food crops for land and has a long growth cycle. Consequently, annual yields are quite restricted. This makes the cost prohibitively high. In contrast, producing polyester fiber is much easier. Its two core raw materials can both be derived from abundant petroleum resources, though their names are a bit of a mouthful in reality, just like the flour and sugar used in baking a cake. When mixed in specific proportions and processed, they can produce fibers with various textures. At around 280 degrees Celsius with the addition of a catalyst, these raw materials are stirred into a gooey plastic soup. After cooling, it's cut into small pellets and dried thoroughly, otherwise the fibers would easily snap during the drawing process. Next, the pellets are reheated to 260-270 degrees to remelt, squeezed through a spinneret full of tiny holes and chilled by air, instantly turning into fine filaments. By stretching these filaments several times over, their strength and smoothness increase. When made into filament yarn, the fabric becomes more lustrous and sleek. To make staple fibers, they are crimped and cut short to mimic cotton. Once spun, they feel more natural, yet are more wrinkle resistant and durable. Simply put, the production of polyester is much like making cotton candy or pulling ramen noodles. The essence lies in drawing raw materials into functional fibrous products. The only difference is the raw materials are petrochemicals and the tools are industrial machines. The output is massive enough to provide clothing freedom for 1.4 billion people. From this perspective, chemical fiber is clearly a beneficial product for society, so why does it get so much hate? In fact, the main complaints are that it's prone to static electricity and generally lacks breathability in summer. It feels as stuffy as being wrapped in plastic. Over time, it earned a bad reputation for being cheap, prone to pilling, and non-breathable. Of course, these are indeed facts, because polyester is non-absorbent. It can't wick away sweat like cotton or linen, especially in hot and humid conditions. Wearing polyester clothing can feel even more stifling. Even with today's so-called moisture-wicking and quick-drying technologies, the performance gap still hasn't been closed. As we learned in middle school physics, dry fibers rubbing against each other will build up a static charge. Because polyester doesn't absorb water, it lacks the moisture to dissipate that charge. So the belief that synthetics cause static electricity is actually well-founded. It also makes clothes prone to attracting lint dust and pilling. They even cling to your body, which can be quite embarrassing. Most importantly, as we mentioned earlier, as a thermoplastic material, synthetic fabric's greatest strength is its durability. However, this also means it is virtually non-biodegradable under natural conditions. In short, it's not environmentally friendly enough. All these points are valid, but I believe when shopping for clothes, average people care most about whether they can afford it. According to a 2024 consumption report, polyester fiber holds the largest share of the women's wear market, accounting for nearly 40 of the top 50 fabrics, with sales growing by 127.6% year-on-year. Why is that? Because without polyester, the price of many clothes would double. For example, if a cotton t-shirt is 50 yuan, a polyester t-shirt might only be 99. A cotton jacket costs 300 yuan, while a polyester one is only 99. For an average person earning 30 yuan a month, polyester is clothing they can afford, while cotton is a luxury they can only buy occasionally. More importantly, the low-price model of fast fashion allows average people to buy more clothes. For example, where you could once only afford 2 cotton t-shirts, now you can afford 10 polyester t-shirts a year. Even though polyester isn't as comfortable as cotton for t-shirts, essentials like underwear that need frequent washing, affordability and quantity often matter more than premium quality. Environmental protection is a concern for the future, but having clothes to wear is a necessity. necessity for the present day. For the less fortunate, staying warm today is more critical than the state of the environment tomorrow. Therefore, we can say with absolute certainty that banning polyester for the sake of the environment is simply not an option, because from fast fashion to high-end apparel and from sportswear to outdoor gear, polyester has permeated every aspect of our lives. Banning polyester would be practically equivalent to stripping ordinary people of their clothes. So, what is the solution? By improving it, for example, through recycled polyester, which turns waste plastic bottles into fiber to reduce petroleum consumption. For instance, Nike's moisture wicking gear uses 100 recycled polyester, where one garment is equivalent to recycling 5 plastic bottles. There is also technological innovation. Polyester used to be notorious for trapping sweat, but with modified cross-section technology, fibers can now be engineered with grooves that act like tiny pipes to wick sweat away. Wearing polyester during exercise keeps you drier than cotton. This is scenario adaptation. Since workouts require quick drying fabrics, polyester is a much better fit than cotton. Take cotton-like polyester as another example. Through chemical treatment, the fiber surfaces become textured and fuzzy, providing a soft cotton-like feel while retaining polyester's wrinkle and wear resistance. It is perfect for everyday shirts. This isn't about synthetic fibers replacing cotton. It's about synthetics adopting cotton's best traits. Then there's the popular washed, sanded fabric made from recycled polyester. It feels softer than pure cotton and maintains its shape even after 10 washes. For home textiles, durability is often more vital than being natural, because these products must withstand heavy everyday use. So it's not that people simply prefer chemical fibers over cotton and linen, but rather that we appreciate whichever material performs best in a given situation. The era of dismissing chemical fibers entirely is long gone. After all is said and done, it boils down to one sentence. Polyester may not be a perfect fabric, but it is indeed one that best meets our current needs. Many people criticize it, yet few can live without it, because it makes clothing affordable for everyone and keeps fast fashion prices low, giving us more variety in our wardrobes. But think about it, are we really criticizing polyester's plasticky feel? Or are we just criticizing low-end products? Are we blaming polyester for environmental pollution? Or should we be questioning our own consumption habits? If we bought fewer items but of higher quality and wore them longer, the pollution from polyester would decrease. If we support recycled polyester and circularity, the environmental issues surrounding it can be resolved. Furthermore, with the advancement of technology, chemical fibers are becoming higher performing and more eco-friendly, meeting the demands of modern life more effectively. The merits of chemical fiber are the fruits of technological progress, while its limitations are simply proof that technology is still evolving. Sure, you can keep picking at its flaws and criticizing IT, but I suggest we give it a bit more time.